Kenyans are calling on the National Treasury and the Ministries of Energy, Petroleum and Agriculture to address, among other issues, the following. Noting that there exists a consumer protection mechanism to cushion Kenyans from adverse fluctuation in fuel prices, this mechanism is financed by the taxpayer at the pump through the Fuel Levy Fund. We ask, where is the 39 billion shillings Petroleum Development Levy Fund meant for the fuel subsidy program as this crisis deepens? The Auditor General has already raised questions on the irregular and illegal diversion of these consumer protection funds to state agencies and unnamed private entities. She has also decried abuse on the petroleum import system in favor of some preferred and politically connected oil marketers deliberately depriving Kenyans of the subsidy mechanism. Can the Treasury also confirm or deny that the diversion of funds has been used in debt servicing and infrastructure development without the approval of the National Assembly? Can the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum list the import quotas that have been allocated to oil marketers over the last 1 year, and which are these oil marketers by name? The people telling us about Ukraine and Russia are also telling us that there is no shortage of fuel. They are also trying to blame oil marketers. So they are even conflicted in the reasons why we have an artificial crisis in the country. From their own statement, they are not sure of what to say. Is it because of the war in Ukraine, or is it because of the crisis with our oil marketers? Which is which? And that goes to tell you that this crisis is orchestrated, and it is as a result of the cartels and barons who have taken over, using conflict of interest and state capture in our economy. I mean, a straight answer would be, how come that fuel in Uganda is cheaper than fuel in Kenya? So, and yet the fuel being sold in Uganda goes through Kenya. That tells you that that kind of explanation is escapist and has no basis whatsoever. We should address ourselves to the crisis that is there in the country and the monopolies that have taken our fuel and economic sector captive. Yes, my friend. Kiru, Yanet, you don't live in Kenya. I mean, honestly. You know as much as I do the situation in Kenya. You know that what was government is now like the opposition, and what was the opposition is now behaving like it is government. It is that confusion that has visited on the people of Kenya an accountability problem, because there are no more clear lines between the people in the opposition and the people in government, because greedy people who are supposed to be discharging their responsibility on the other side of government, because of greed, decided to come and become cartels and barons in government. So the responsibility we are discharging here is because We believe in the citizenship of our republic. This is somebody else's responsibility, but we are forced to do it because we have the interests of the nation at heart, and we want the right thing to happen in Kenya. We would have chosen to keep quiet, but the crisis in Kenya cannot allow us to keep quiet. Yes. You know, we are locking the stable when the horse has already bolted. We will see what will happen, because this should have been addressed before we got ourselves into the crisis that we are currently in, before the long queues and before the suffering that the country is going through. As a result of the fuel crisis, we have serious price fluctuations in all basic food items, because to a great extent they are dependent on the prices of fuel. So as we go around this, just you may want to know that that supplementary estimate was brought just last week. You know, the fuel crisis has been long in coming. They don't need it. And you actually don't need the supplementary estimate to be able to deal with this. There was already money in the Petroleum Development Fund. Where did that money go? As I have told you, the Auditor General has raised queries of the diversion of that money into illegally and unconstitutionally and irregularly into areas that shouldn't have been the function of money meant for fuel subsidy. So the question still begs, what happened to the Petroleum Development Levy Fund? Why was the money diverted in the first place? Why was it diverted to state agencies? Why was it diverted to private entities? By the time the Auditor General is raising questions, it tells you there are millions of questions on matters to do with conflict of interest, corruption, and possibly what we have always said, state capture. Are we done? Good. Thank you very much.